Alrighty, Chris, it's halftime, so I figured I'd do this video. This one's going to be informative more so than any demonstration. I'll do a little demo. This is how, and I'm going to post this on YouTube and then copy it and send it to you so it'll be compressed enough to go in your email. And of course, this is for any of you who, see it on YouTube. I'm going to do a Mixolydian. But it's the thing about, I'm going to explain the modes how I see it. It's out of the key of D major. So Mixolydian, there's no, whether you talk natural minor or Mixolydian or Dorian or any of that, it's not just in one spot. It's not just a shape in this one place. It's all through what I call all the 7 scale positions of a key. So I wrote this out. This is in D, okay? And this applies to any key. If you go to G, well, then your Ionian starts with the G note and you play Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. I don't know what this is going to look like in the camera, but at the top here, I've got Ionian. And we're using the key of D major right here. But we want, if that's the key, if this key is okay for you, then that's fine. And if it's not, let me know if you'd rather me do a different key, but it's all going to end up the same. I'm going to start with Ionian in that key. If it's F, it's going to be all the notes of F. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So here I got Ionian. I don't have to read it because I know what the notes are. It's D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. And that's it. That's Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. If you want to put another D on the end of it, then you resolve it on Do again. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. But the actuality of it is it's Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. That's your Ionian. That's starting with a D note. So Ionian mode is only if you start with that tonic note D and go to that C sharp. That's your Ionian mode. Or you can add in the D at the end. I didn't add in starting the next run of notes on any of these. The next step up, if you're in the key of D major, your Dorian mode starts with an E note. And it's, if you look at the pattern of these, you'll see that all the notes are the same in every one of these blocks. You're just starting with the next note up. If you look down here from Ionian to Dorian to Phrygian, and I named them that, it's only that mode if you go from that note to that note. And there's variations of that. When people play to a Dorian mode flavor, sometimes they can give it the flavor and leave out one of the notes. Like in E, you could do half E minor pentatonic and leave out the F sharp note and put in the C sharp note, or vice versa. Take out the C sharp note, put in the F sharp note. And so it doesn't have to just be this. This is just basic fundamental facts. It's not theory. It's facts. Do, Re, Mi in D major is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and back to D if you want to do that. So the modal thing, like we were talking about a Mixolydian, which is in here. So we got, I call them scale positions, like Marquis told me. They're scale positions. They're not a frickin' mode just because you go to start with the E note and play. All 7 modes are in every one of these single blocks. If I started in the D major block and started with the E note in that same block, it would become Dorian. If I started with the F sharp, it would become Phrygian, going from F sharp to the F sharp, So why we talked the other day, like a Mixolydian, my mind, as having taught myself all the scale blocks and can play them in any key at the snap of a finger, and mix in pentatonic, major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, flat fives, all this and that, you name it. The basics foundation is this, because if I'm going to play to a chord, backing track, or create one, if it's going to flavor, on here we got, after the, starting with the F sharp, it would be Phrygian, starting with, in D, it'd be a G sharp, F sharp Phrygian. Then you got Lydian if you start with the G note here, and if you start with the A note, these are all the notes of D major. If you look at this stuff, all the notes are the same, you're just starting with the next note and going up to the next, you know what I mean? So the thing is about, like we talked about A mixolydian, well, it's all over the fretboard in the 7 scale positions of D major. And they repeat themselves depending on how many frets you got. So you talk A mixolydian, to me, for me to be able to go anywhere on the fretboard and play that flavor, because I'm not necessarily starting with an A and going to the A again only, I'm going into all those scale positions. I'm playing in the B minor, the Aeolian position, I'm playing in the E Dorian position, but I'm playing and flavoring the chords that I'm playing to. So, but you have to have all these scale blocks positions down. But just because this, what do I want to say? The D major scale blocks. So when I go to E, the E block of D major, the second scale position, it's not just E Dorian. It's any one of those 7 modal names can be played in that block. That's why I'm always saying learn the scale blocks. And like even some of the tracks off of YouTube that I played you one the other day, just a little bit. Or I never posted the video because when I looked at the video on there, I didn't like how I did it. Some of the videos on YouTube, they say, like the one was A mixolydian, and it was an E minor 7 to an A that opened kind of, it sounded, had this sound to it, so it had the, you know. That's really leaning towards E Dorian because it's heavy on that E minor 7. But A mixolydian is also in the key of D major, so yeah, it's there. But I would be, you know, I would be leaning towards the E Dorian, which the notes are all the same as the A mixolydian, but I would be leaning towards the E on that particular track, you know. So A mixolydian, there's a gazillion different chord progressions, but all that means when you hear the word mixolydian or natural minor or Dorian, it just means the chord progression speaks to lean towards those notes starting and ending with. And that's E Dorian, but if I was going to play in flavor A mixolydian, I could use them same notes. I would lean towards the notes, same notes I'm playing, but I would lean towards, you know, harmonizing to that A mix, that A flavor, you know, like the C sharp. You know, it's the notes I'm starting with and ending on, but they're all the same notes as the E Dorian. I might just be harmonizing to that A chord more, so. And the same notes I would be for E Dorian. I would be flavoring, going to E kind of thing to give it that flavor. But all the notes I'm using are the exact same. So to me, I listen to a chord, and some of the titles they give them are not correct on YouTube. Some of them are called E minor, and when I hear the context of the chords on there, that's E Dorian. It's another, some people call it another type of minor, but there's a huge difference. There's one note difference that makes it sound like total shit when somebody plays a natural minor to it versus that C sharp versus the C from natural minor to Dorian. Every note matters on how something feels, as you know. So sometimes they title things on YouTube incorrectly. You know, it's just not all the mode means is you're flavoring towards harmonizing or playing the notes of that A mixolydian. Be kind of A to A, but all those A mixolydian comes out of the D major scale blocks, E Dorian comes out of them, F sharp Phrygian, G Lydian, B natural minor, C sharp Locrian, which is all these things I wrote down. It's only the note you start with and end on that makes it either Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian. But so to play, if I was to play to a two chord track with that, I would be playing it in and out of all those scale blocks of D major and playing the notes I want to hear based on the chord that's being hit. I could do like that piece of E Dorian and just stay with that even when it goes to the A chord. I'm thinking on harmonizing with the chord being played, but utilizing all the notes in amongst all those scale positions of D major. So if I wanted to favor really like hitting something to really bring a feeling to when it hits that A chord, then I might... I would just play over those two chords. And then maybe the next time I would, when it's on the E, I would hit that, start with the B note out of that all the same notes. I could play to that out of the B natural minor scale block to this. Or that's out of the B natural minor. Or, so when it's on the E, I can play any of them blocks of D major to that. And just knowing, no matter where you go, if I'm here, now I'm in the what would be the A mixolydian if I played A to A, but I'm just using that block to play to the chords that are being played on the track. That block shape, but I'm playing to the E chord while I'm there now. And I could go with that to that A chord. I could play out of the F sharp block, the Phrygian block, but it's not just Phrygian, it's anything of the 7 modes of out of D major. So the A mixolydian. See, that's F sharp Phrygian block, but it's not just F sharp Phrygian, it's all 7 modes of D major. So to that is, F sharp block, but I'm playing to the E minor 7 and the A. Because I'm taking that, I'm doing Dorian kind of when it's on this E minor 7, but I'm not parking at the E. I'm playing it from the F sharp note going, because I'm doing it out of there because I want to end when it hits the A with a, I decide to go to certain scale blocks because of how I want to end my riff. Whether it's on the A chord, the phrasing that I'm doing, the end my phrase on the A or the E, it depends. I might start out moving somewhere, starting with something new when it's on the A chord. And then by the time I go here, and then I might, when it goes to that E again, I might go. So I'm using any one of them blocks, I'm not going to the G Lydian block to play G Lydian. I'm using that block to do a phrase to, whether it's on the E chord or the A, either or play there to both. And you know, I'm always focusing on harmonizing to them chords, I will do occasionally the root, like the A when it's on the A chord, or the E when it's on an E, but I try to avoid that as much as possible, and I try to harmonize to the chords using those scale blocks. So when I go into the G, that's why it's crucial to learn all the 7 scale blocks in a key, and then you can play to, I can favor A Mixolydian going through all of them blocks. The E Dorian block, F sharp, Phrygian, G Lydian, A Mixolydian, B natural minor. Go in and out of any one of them blocks, but I'm playing a certain phrase wherever I decide to go. I'm playing what I want to hear, but I don't have to search for the notes because I learned the scale blocks of that key. So when you hear Mixolydian, that's the 5 chord or the scale block or mode of a certain key. So if I said C Mixolydian, then that's the 5 of F. That all comes from your do, re, mi. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. So in F it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So your Mixolydian, C Mixolydian would come from F. So in my mind, I can play in all the scale blocks of F. G Dorian, A Phrygian, B Lydian, C Mixolydian, D natural minor. Is that right? Yeah, to something that's in that key, you know. So when you hear Dorian, that's the 2nd mode out of a certain key. If you're talking G Dorian, that comes from the key of F major, all the scale blocks of F major. So I would move in and out of all the scale blocks of F major to play to that couple, 3 chords, whatever's speaking that flavor. D natural minor is also from F, you know, so a lot of times you got that track you like. I can't remember, you know, how you know, that's it from F. You know, so I'm in the B flat, I'm not even thinking, you know, so it's a. And I try to play not going to the root note, even though, yes, you can, but I would play out of that B Lydian block, but I'm not playing B Lydian, I'm playing to the D minor, to the B flat. Whatever that ain't. You know, again, I try to play not hitting the root, although, yeah, of course you can, you know. And so that kind of thing. And then there's the A Phrygian block for that. What? So, and C Mixolydian block, D natural minor block, E low crank. So all them scale blocks, no matter what mode you want to be flavoring, it comes from a key, and your Dorian comes from the 2nd scale position of a key, the Ionian do, re, mi, whatever the key may be, and the 3rd scale block of that key is Phrygian flavor if you use just, you know, note to note on that. Lydian, and so on. Those are just the scale positions, but all 7 modes are each one of them blocks. So when you learn all the scale blocks in a key, you want to play them so much that you get to know the shapes of them, you know, in relation to one to the other, you know. So D major, You know, you got your